You've probably heard of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? It's a classic for a really good reason. But what if that exact same framework is actually the perfect blueprint for one of the most unique learning environments out there, a boarding house? Let's dive in and see how these two things connect.
So, before we can even get to the habits, we have to ask a really fundamental question. I mean, when you strip it all back, what's boarding actually for? It's got to be more than just making sure homework gets done and lights are out on time, right?
And there it is. That's the unspoken goal. It isn't just about managing the school year, it's about genuine transformation. It's about making sure that when these students walk out the door for the last time, they are more responsible, more self-aware, and just flat out more prepared for what life's going to throw at them.
Okay, so if that's the goal, to help shape more capable young adults, how in the world do we get there? Well, this is exactly where Covey's framework comes in. It becomes this invaluable map for the journey, giving us a really clear structure for building the habits that lead to maturity and independence.
And look, that journey, it always starts from within. Covey called this the private victory, and it's all about a student building that solid foundation of self-management. This is where we find habits 1, 2, and 3.
Everything kicks off right here with habit 1, be proactive. And this isn't just about, having a lot of energy. It's about a huge mental shift. It's moving away from blaming everything else, the loud roommate, the tough exam, the early alarm, and instead taking total ownership of your own choices and how you respond.
And what I love about this is how practical it is. Being proactive in a boarding house isn't some fuzzy, abstract idea. Nope. It's getting yourself up without needing 3 different people to remind you. It's cleaning up your mess in the common room. It's being able to just say, you know what? That was my bad when you mess up. And it's asking for help before you're completely overwhelmed. It's ownership in action.
And that flows perfectly into habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. This is the habit of purpose. It's about helping students see past the immediate rule and understand the long-term why behind it. It's about connecting what they're doing today with the life they want to have after school.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, you've got how a lot of students see boarding life at first, just a long list of restrictions. But the whole point of habit 2 is to help them see what's on the right, that these aren't restrictions at all. They're supports. They're the training wheels teaching them the discipline they're going to need for university, for their first job, for real independence.
Which, of course, brings us to habit 3, put first things first. I mean, boarding life is a constant juggling act, right? You've got academics, sports, your friends, and trying to get some sleep. This habit is the nuts and bolts skill of figuring out what's truly important versus what's just screaming for your attention. It's learning to get that big paper done before getting pulled into the latest social drama.
All right, so once that foundation of self-mastery is being built, the focus naturally shifts outward. Covey called this the public victory, and it is all about how we navigate the world with other people. It's about the power of relationships, and that's where we find habits 4, 5, and 6.
And these next 3 habits, they are all connected by one single, incredibly powerful theme. Yep, relationships. Think about it. In a boarding house, you are literally living with dozens of other people. You can't just avoid them or ignore them. And that makes a boarding house one of the most powerful places on the entire planet to learn the art of human connection.
And these are the tools for learning that art. Habit 4, think win-win. How do we find a solution where we both feel good about it? Then there's habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood, which is, the absolute heart of empathy and solving conflicts. And finally, habit 6, synergize, working together to create something way better than any of us could on our own.
And let's be really clear, learning how to sort out a disagreement about a messy room or actually listening to a friend's perspective, that's not trivial stuff. Like the slide says, these are not soft skills. These are essential life skills that are going to define their success in their future families, workplaces, and communities.
And finally, we get to the one habit that makes all the other 6 even possible, the one that powers the whole system, the habit of renewal, habit 7.
Covey had that famous phrase for it, sharpen the saw. And you can see here, it's not just one thing. It's a whole person approach to taking care of yourself. It's teaching students that sleep isn't a luxury, that rest is actually productive, and that their physical and mental health is the engine for everything else they do. Learning to protect that engine is a critical lesson. So we have this amazing 7-habit framework, but how do students actually learn all this stuff? Well, that brings us to the final, and maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle, the absolutely crucial role of the boarding staff, because it's the leaders who shape the habits. And they do it by modeling. See, students are always watching. They see how staff handle a stressful situation. They see how they take responsibility for a mistake. They see how they communicate with respect, even when they're frustrated. That consistency from the adults, it sets the entire tone for the house.
This quote from Covey just says it all, doesn't it? Habits are caught as much as they are taught. You can give lectures about being proactive all day long, but when a student sees a staff member actually live it, that's when the lesson really truly sticks. In a boarding house, your leadership is always on display.
So in the end, using the 7 habits in a boarding house isn't about some new program or another checklist to follow. It's a fundamental mindset. It's a long-term investment in shaping character, in building resilience, and in growing real independence. It is an investment in who these young people are going to become long after they've left.